Hi everyone, it's Han here. This is my first rant, and I wasn't expecting to have a rant so quickly into my project, but this definitely deserves to be ranted about. I signed on to Facebook today, and there was a pop-up of an exhibition, a private view for an exhibition in London called Nasty Women Exhibition. Okay, so I clicked onto the link, and the picture that came up, much to my shock and disgust, was of a naked woman lying there with what can only be described as a falafel hanging out of her vagina. I scrolled down and read the blurb. The blurb on the website reads, "Nasty Women is a global art movement that serves to demonstrate solidarity among artists. It draws together those who identify with being a nasty woman in the face of threats to roll back women's rights, individual rights, and abortion rights." Excuse my cynicism, but I mean, the term "too many fallacies, too little time" springs to mind. I mean, it's just, I'm not going to get into the whole neo-feminism, social engineering, brainwashing thing. There are many people who explain that a lot better than me. I recommend you check out the work of Stefan Molyneux, Jan Irvin, possibly Mark Passio, if you want to get a basic overview of what feminism really is, what effect it's had on society, and who came up with the idea in the first place, because it certainly wasn't these so-called repressed women rising up against the patriarchy. No. This is social engineering, and it's weaponized anthropology. But that's not what I came to talk about. I'm going to home in on the individual behavior of women in society today, what I'm observing of this neo-feminist class, and also most women, because it's obviously been filtered down. So basically, Nasty Women is it's a response to the fact that women are having their rights revoked. Now, again, that's not something I want to get into, but I recommend you check out the writings of Paul Elam. You could also check out MGTOW, the MGTOW movement, men going their own way, and the men's rights movement. I thoroughly recommend Karen Strawn of Girl Writes What? Girl Writes What? Type that into YouTube, and she's got a wealth of knowledge on all of this, and these myths that surround women, and the so-called revocation of women's rights. Now, it's such bizarre behavior that's being exhibited in the art world, amongst other places, but if we just focus on this performance art, this feminist performance art, you know, it seems like the more offended women are, the more they act like animals. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre behavior. Where does that even, where's the logic in that? How does that follow? I'm offended by, we're not quite sure what, something they've made up in their own heads. And so that means I'm going to act like a degenerate animal. You know, it's almost like a temper tantrum, you know, by a toddler. You say no to them, or you ask them to do something they don't like, and they throw a hissy fit, and it doesn't make any sense, but they're a toddler, and that's what happens. These women, they're not acting like toddlers, they're acting like animals, lower than animals. And it's absolutely disgusting when it's an Emperor's New Clothes situation, you know. It's a groupthink thing. You know, they think that they're kind of above it all and they've got these new ideas and that they're not mind controlled. Somebody like me sits there and I think, holy hell. I see it for what it is, and other people do too. And it's like, wow, you know, uh, yeah, you're lying there naked with a falafel shoved up your fanny, and people are standing around and admiring it. Yeah, oh, look at that, you know, oh, the ideas here are so poignant and deep. No, no, they're not. Feminism is a hideous thing, you know, and I believe that I believe in equal rights, you know, but this is not what this is. Um, this You're not respecting yourself by acting like that, and you're also not, well, it would be okay if you weren't contributing to society, but actually you're contributing to society in a very, very negative way. And one of the most disgusting things about it is that men say nothing. In fact, they sit back and they either secretly believe that it's hideous or they pretend that that they approve of this behavior. And I can't think of anything more sickening than a male supporter of this hideous form of neo-feminism. There are guys who see through it and stand up to it, especially those in the MGTOW movement, or just decent men, basically, you know. It's it's left me quite speechless, but anyway, I will carry on reading the blurb from this Nasty Women website. It says, to mark the International Day of Peace on Thursday, 21st of September, Nasty Women will be collaborating with Creative Debuts to hold its first art exhibition in London. Over the past year, we've been seeing some huge political shifts here in the UK with Brexit, in the US with the election of President Trump, and around the globe. Yeah, again, it's the fallacious rhetoric of Brexit is bad, President Trump is bad because racism or because sexism. No substance to the argument, no research, no thought or logic, just the regurgitation of rhetoric. And they never question where that rhetoric comes from. They didn't think of it. Okay, and neither did any of the other feminists. These ideas have infiltrated our society, and they started at the top. This is a form of control. Do you honestly think that women would have been given the vote if the establishment didn't want them to have the vote? It's all been orchestrated. Women are arguably more malleable, they're more emotional and less rational. You know, that's what makes us good nurturers, and that's okay, you know. But the establishment knew that, you know. They now have a huge demographic of the voting populace who they can manipulate in certain ways. And what's happened now is women's rights have surpassed men's rights. There's no equality. Women have more rights than men. Look at what happens when families break up. Look at the statistics on who instigates divorce in most cases. Anyway, I'll carry on reading this blurb. In a world that feels increasingly unpredictable, we need our political leaders to stand up and show that one thing is non-negotiable: the human values of equality, fairness, and compassion that defines our society. So they're calling for the leaders, who they're basically sticking two fingers up to with their exhibition, and then they're appealing to their authority. You know, you either believe in a leadership system or you don't, you know. You know, why don't you do something about it if you're so full of good ideas? And then they're making it up about, well, women's rights are being revoked. Yeah, not in this country, not in America, not in the West, okay? Maybe in countries that that have dictators and you know, the Islamic countries, but it's not happening here. And at the same time that you're arguing you should be given more rights and that you want people to respect you, you're lying there with your legs splayed wide open with food up your cunny. Do you know what? There's somebody somewhere at the top looking at this and pissing themselves laughing. I can guarantee it. I wonder how many strings we would have to pull and how long it would take before we get females to act like dogs in public, to lie there exposing themselves and having people come in and look at them smeared in food and give their approval because it's art. I wonder if we can get women to behave like that. Well, congratulations, you have. Ladies, it's time to wake up. Your feminism didn't come from you, it didn't come from your sisters. It's a very well orchestrated form of control to divide and conquer, to divide the sexes, stop people from procreating, and to emasculate men. You need to start realizing that the powers that be are not on your side, number one. And number two, if there's any kind of groupthink that you want to be involved in, you need to research its roots and exactly where that rhetoric and that ideology comes from.